This is Waltemath of the Headliner and Star Watch Media reporting from the 2011 Dallas International Film Festival. Morgan, Waltemath of Star Watch Media.
Great
it's a
to
pleasure.
see you.
Can you back up for us in a second so we can get a
absolutely.
great shot of this?
Yeah,
Can you do a turn for us really quick? That's wonderful. I love it. I love it. This is such a fascinating concept, a film about product placement in film and just overall advertisement in the film industry.
And it's actually paid for by product placement.
By
The fact that we actually got companies to give us money to rip open their industry is amazing.
Where did you come up with this concept? Such a unique idea.
Oh, thanks. I mean, no, the whole idea for the film came from this completely offensive episode of Heroes. I loved Heroes. It was one of my favorite shows. And then one day, like, Hayden Panettiere comes out of school, and like her dad gives her a car in the show, and so she completely freaks out about the Nissan Rogue. And I was like, oh my God, I just watched a commercial right in the middle of this show. That was unbelievable. And so that kind of inspired us to like talk about this whole world of product placement in film and TV. And we said, well, you know what if we just like completely pulled the curtain back, talked about what goes on, and get these companies to give us the money to do it.
It also appears to be somewhat of a mockery of that aspect of the industry and that aspect of the film industry.
Yeah, I think it does a great job of making fun of all the bad placement that's in every movie and TV show ever. But at the same time, I think what it does is show what's possible. Literally when you work with a company and get them to have confidence in what you're doing. Because literally, we called hundreds of companies to fund this movie, and we ended up with 15. So I mean, for me, the fact that we actually got 15 companies that were brave enough to take part in this is pretty remarkable.
You gained so much acclaim for Supersize It, your documentary about McDonald's. Just talk about that process and just having to eat 3 meals a day at a McDonald's restaurant for an entire month.
Yeah, believe me, it's nothing I would ever recommend to anyone. Not only for a film, but in life in general. No one should do that ever. And I think that I'm incredibly proud of that movie, the impact it's had. I run into people every day, kids every day, who watch it in health class, or who or parents who show it to their kids. It's remarkable.
Did you ever expect to get that kind of acclaim for this documentary?
I mean, I was glad we sold it. Like when we went to Sundance and somebody actually bought it, I was like, that's amazing. The fact that it's like gone on to kind of have a life of its own is a whole nother level.
You started out in Los Angeles as a stand-up comedian. When did you make the decision that you wanted to move towards filmmaking?
Yeah, I mean, I was in film school even then. When I was in LA, I was trying to get into film school, but I got into NYU, moved to New York, was still doing stand-up while I was in film school, and then basically decided just to start focusing on filmmaking completely. And and for me, it was like I got so much out of being in New York, out of going to film school and working in the film business, and I've been really fortunate. When I first got out of film school, I was working as a PA. Like I was working as a schlep. It's like fetching coffee, carrying things. The very first movie I worked on out of NYU was The Professional by Luc Besson. So to get to like see Luc Besson work and just kind of learn from him was amazing. Bullets Over Broadway with Woody Allen. Kiss of Death, which was directed by Barbet Schroeder, who also directed Barfly and Reversal of Fortune. I got to like be around really amazing directors really early on in my career and just like watch them and learn from them by seeing how they talk to crew, talk to actors, how do they develop their script and stories. And so, that was a blessing.
Upcoming projects for you?
We're editing a film right now that is my next movie, which is Comic-Con Episode 4. It's a film all about San Diego Comic-Con. I'm a super, super uber geek. I love comic books. I love genre movies. The movie that made me want to get into making movies to begin with was Scanners. When that guy's head exploded in Scanners, I wanted to make movies forever. So we followed 7 people into last year's Comic-Con, kind of showed their Comic-Con experience, and now we're editing it into a film.
Last question. This is such a unique suit. Who is the designer of your suit?
Oh, this is Ted Baker. Ted Baker is the greatest suit you'll ever wear.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the time. Congratulations on the film.
Thank you very much.